Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to the Pick and Roll Podcast number 83. I'm with my guys Nikki Dees, Coach Ed Glanny, and Rio from the Just Fans Podcast. How you guys doing?
Doing good, and yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Got a lot of stuff today. How about you guys? How about you, Rio?
It's been a long day. It's been a long week.
It feels like it. It feels like it. Hey, what's up? Thank you for stopping by. Spongy, we see everybody in the chat. Yep. Football's basically back. Football's right there. So we're all getting ready for that. Fantasy football leagues, pick'em leagues. You guys know the drill. Hey, what's up, man? Thank you for stopping by. So apparently some breaking news dropped today, and Laurie Markkinen has signed a 5-year, $228 million contract negotiation and extension, including $220 million in new money. How do you guys feel about this? Nikki, I'll start with you.
I mean, good for Laurie Markkinen. He got his paper, and that'll finally end to the discussion on maybe he might get traded. Because obviously that's not going to happen now, but where do the Utah Jazz go from here?
Right. We're going to talk about that later on in the show, actually. Rios, how do you feel?
Not surprising. A player of his caliber is can't really let him go because Utah's a hard team to draw free agents, so you got to pay your guys. Because no one wants to live in
Yeah. I mean, it's Utah, right? It's Utah. I thought they would get, like, a lot of picks for him. But, Coach.
Pretty much just like you guys said. I mean, you know, he was going to get his money one way or another. So, you know, I mean, basically Utah said, you know, hey, here's the money. Sounds like he wants to stay there, and you know, they worked out a deal, and you know, you guys say he can't get traded, so you know, I guess that takes him off the table for the season.
Yeah.
Oh, and when you say he can't get traded, it's a complete no trade clause, or is it a partial, or what is it?
I don't think he can get
the money in the cap hit.
Okay. Blaze, how do you feel? I know you wanted Laurie Markkinen on the Sixers.
I mean, in hindsight now, can you blame him? I mean, it's a budding superstar. It's someone who has taken such a leap in the last couple years from someone who is going to be a big role player for a team to someone who could be a legit perennial all-star now. So if I was the Jazz, I mean, I'm playing commissioner, just regular NBA fan now. I want to be a Sixer fan for a minute and just say, if I was in charge of the Utah Jazz, I would have been trying to lock him down a long time ago. And who's to say they weren't? Who's to say they weren't? They've already added a lot of good pieces. Mitch, we've talked about what a good draft they had.
Yeah.
So it's like, the only thing I'm surprised of is that this didn't happen earlier. Like, I'm sure there's reasons why. But when there's all these rumors about your guy who just stepped up as a star, like, let's think about the Sixers. What if there was rumors of Maxey getting traded all offseason? Like, Maxey's like, he didn't say anything about wanting to stay here or be here. Like, it's a budding star that Utah's got to embrace and love and build around. So it makes sense to me. It sucks because I would have loved to seen him, Embiid, Paul George, Maxey, and McCain next year. But that would have been a hell of a lineup, in my opinion. And it's just like, yeah, I'm sure a handful of other teams would have loved to have him too. But once I started to see, like, what they were asking for him, like these 4 or 5 number 1 picks and this and that, and wasn't he in a trade? Wasn't he part of what big trade was that he was a part of? He was going. He went from the Bulls to the Jazz. What trade? I forget what trade that was. But
I forget too.
He was part of it.
Yeah, I'm actually looking up the depth chart now of Utah.
When that happened, Markkinen wasn't, you know, where he is now. So he was just a piece to a puzzle to a trade back then, where now he would be the main part of a trade. Maybe the chat can help us out. I know it was a big trade where he was a part of that trade when he left the Bulls.
Yeah. So this is actually the updated depth chart from ESPN. And look at the team he's got. Keontae George, who has very high expectations. Isaiah Collier, he could have been up higher, but of course he was shut down by the whole thing with Bronny James and everything. John Collins, very underrated. I like Kessler. Fiddle Pawlowski, even though he's from Duke, I like his game. He's got a bright future. This updated roster, so they're building around Lauri Markkanen. I think it's perfect. I really think it is. Could they have used maybe the 5 or 6 first-round picks? Absolutely. They'll be up there with the Thunder, all those teams for the bright future. So this was the right call. Very, very right call. Can't wait. Can't wait to see him play. But yeah, if anyone in the chat knows, he came from the Cavs in the Donovan Mitchell trade.
Donovan Mitchell. That's it. I just found it. It's the Mitchell trade. It wasn't from the Bulls. He went Bulls to Cavs, and he went Cavs, and it was part of the Donovan Mitchell trade. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Spongy.
Yeah, thank you, Spongy.
Yeah,
so
that was going to bug me until I figured it out. It was going to be one of those things where it sticks in your head and you're like, I just heard it 2 days ago. I got to figure out what it is. Thank you, Google and Spongy.
Yep. And it was a part of my trade. So there you go.
Oh,
But,
I'm going to start pausing every time you do that. How about that?
Yeah, Lauri Markkanen, he got paid. Very, very happy for him. So
Does there anybody think he didn't deserve that? Does anybody think that's overpaid?
no.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, in today's market now, it's about right.
Yeah, it's very, very about right.
'Cause, I mean, in today's market, like Rios just said, you got to pay for potential. You can't pay for just what they're doing now because you're thinking about the next 4 or 5 years. So you have to like project. So to justify it now is going to be difficult. You know, if it's valuable contract, if it's a good valuable contract
That's
or
a
not.
bit mind-boggling to me, especially seeing what the NFL did with Jordan Love. I'm like, this is just going to get out of hand with the sports world.
We're going to see the $1 billion man before we die, fellas. I'm telling you, within our lifetime, there will be $1 billion man.
I mean, we almost did with Otani.
Yeah, that's right. Wasn't it 800 million or 900 or something?
700.
We can sit here and say it's crazy, it's outrageous, but the bottom line is, if fans, people are paying for the product, then it's in a sense not outrageous. Yes, it is a kid's game. We all get that, but the bottom line is they're making money, so the players want their cut.
I've always said that since they started these big contracts. Every time someone has a bitch about it, I'm like, dude, if they didn't have that money to give him, they must have it. You know, from merchandising, from ticket sales, from everything. You think about, and like you said, it's a kid's game. It's also a huge, major corporate conglomeration. These sports are not like when we were kids. Yeah, it was. Oh, these guys are getting paid to play a kid's game. They live it nowadays. Think about what a professional athlete does nowadays. Their eating routine, their workout routine, that's their life, like nonstop for most of their lives. And it's not just a game anymore. It's making money for some. I always talk about how each individual professional athlete is its own LLC. Because you got your trainer, your money guy, your, this guy, that guy, your family, your friends that you want to employ, shit like that. So you got this whole contingency below you. That's why when people talk about tanking or a player not doing this, yeah, they do it sometimes. But overall, they want to feed their family. They want to pay their friends and their coworkers for, whatever corporation, LeBron James Corporation, whoever corporation. So it makes it like, to some people, you see the number and it's number shock because you're seeing hundreds of $1 million for a professional athlete. But I always take two things into consideration. Like Coach said, number one, and number two, they're the best in the freaking planet at what they do. If we knew what the best lawyers and, doctors and stuff like that got paid too, yeah. But we are comparing it to athletes that work their entire career to get here. They're not just going outside and playing a game.
Yeah, and they generate billions of dollars of revenue a year. Like,
that's the point. It's all about the money. We can always go back to the money. If the money's there and they can pay them $1 billion, pay them $1 billion.
It's entertainment. Bottom line, whether you're watching sports, you're going to a movie. Think about movie actors. They're getting paid the same. So when we say, and I get it, it's a lot of money because you're not saving a life.
Yeah, and it's how you consume. Look around me. Look how I consume sports. How much money that I've spent to get all this stuff that's along with the people and the fans and the teams that I love. So yeah, the money's there. Pay them. It's only going to get bigger. Why It goes along with referees and injuries. Why complain about it? It's never going to change. It's only going to get, where they make more and more and more money because these sports generate gazillions of dollars.
Yeah.
And I love them. I've been watching, every type of sport I couldn't even think of here. Laptop and TV Olympics the last 2 weeks.
You know, there was rock climbing.
Yeah.
There was rock climbing in the Olympics.
No.
Synchronized swimming.
Breaking.
Did
Come
they show
on.
breaking yet? I haven't seen it. I
haven't seen. I just know it was
about how sports is entertainment because it really is a form of entertainment. We watch it to be entertained, even though we get more caught up in cheering our favorites. It is still a form of entertainment to some extent.
They gotta be. They got to be saving breaking for like the last weekend or something.
I don't know. I just know it was in the lineup.
Yeah,
so
with a new sport or a new event, you'd think they'd highlight it. You'd hear a lot about it once it got going. So I'm sure it hasn't started yet. We'll hear about it. And who's popping and locking champ? Who's the pop and lock champ? Who's the spin champ? Who's the team champ? Or is it just one thing? Individual breakdown. We'll see. I'm excited. Just like 3 and 3. I mean, let's to try to bring it back to basketball. The 3 and 3 has been pretty cool, girls and boys.
Yeah, no, it was.
I watched it a couple times.
What about Ice Cube's take? Did you hear Ice Cube's take? He challenged the gold medal winner. He says, "Come play us." They need to release that rule and let the past NBA players in it.
It's so different. Yeah. I'm sorry. Look, literally, the ball goes through the hoop. You take it as soon as you touch it. You got 12 seconds to get a shot off. Yeah. That ain't the Ice Cube 3-on-3. Sorry.
No, it's not like pickup 3-on-3 either. It's not like a regular game of 21. It's a little different. I'm waiting to see what the girls do with their game this winter because they're bringing their own 3-on-3 league. So will they adapt Ice Cube's rules to try to keep that type of sport similar, or will they do their own thing? We'll see. Because like Coach just said, there's a million different ways to play 3-on-3.
Yeah. So really quick. I know Philly halftime is upset. He wanted Lauri Markkanen on the Sixers as well.
And
so
Trae
halftime,
Young.
There you go.
And Trae Young and Donovan Mitchell and all the ones that were impossible to get.
Yeah. He keep on calling me. He's like, Mitch, is it possible for us to get this guy? I'm like, maybe. He's like, that's the guy I want now. I'm like, what the hell? Like, where did that come from?
What's up, Jeff?
What is up, Jeff? Yeah, he wanted Trae Young.
Of course.
Where is he going to play?
Yeah, I know.
He just wanted Trae Young because of the shot. That's it. How's that working
for the Atlanta Hawks?
Yeah, well, we're not going to get into that right now, but I want to bring it back to what Blade said about the billion-dollar athlete. I feel like we talked about this before. Which basketball player could become that first billion-dollar athlete?
I think it'll be baseball because we just said, that Ohtani contract was so close. It'll be baseball first.
Would it be soccer?
No, we're only talking about kickball people. We're talking about the big four. We're Americans. Sorry. Salute to you. Basketball, football,
my dad's
hockey.
a huge soccer fan. So.
Sorry, if you love soccer, no offense. We're only talking about the big four. Actually, we're only talking about basketball.
Yeah, but that's why I asked which basketball player, but it looks like you guys saying baseball.
No,
I don't know if we'll get one in basketball before I mean, especially me and Coach.
If you
honestly,
do football,
either baseball or soccer, because that generates billions of dollars a year and has billions of eyes on it all the time.
I will say this: if football does have a $1 billion player, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
it'll be the next highly touted player, like we've seen LeBron, Kobe, and Wemby, and these guys coming out of high school. There's another one coming. It's going to be very soon. It's not Cooper Flagg. He'll be great, but there's another one coming that'll be starting he's the next LeBron, Kobe, Jordan thing.
Bryce James.
Within the next, I'd say within the next 5 years, we'll see another phenomenon coming through. That's what I love about basketball. There's so many.
Yeah.
The machine keeps churning out these athletes.
Yeah. But really quick, I know this is a WNBA thing I'm about to say, but Paige Becker's coach just signed with the NIL. I think she could get a lot of money. People are saying that she's better than Caitlin Clark.
She's also signed for the 3-on-3 league in the winter. So
really?
I will say Caitlin has a better outside shot.
Okay.
But as far as creativity, drive, and also defense, she far Clark bring. Caitlin just has the deep shot, and people love seeing that, and it's just amazing. But Beckers just does everything. I mean, she's a better facilitator. And I'm not saying Caitlin isn't, but Paige has just been geared for it, and she has the mindset too. I mean, she has that. To be honest with you, I think she will go toe to toe with a lot of guys. Now I know she'll lose, but I'm saying mentally, she's not gonna, back down from anyone. She's gonna bring it. So
Yeah, that is actually crazy. I've seen her games a couple times. But back to the Olympics, USA defeat Brazil. They beat the former Philadelphia 76ers legend Raul Neto. I still can't believe that, but
Yeah, that's what I said, Coach. When he said it, I was like, who? I was like, I'm a Sixers fan. I don't even remember the dude.
you don't remember Raul Neto? He was part of the Ben Simmons era.
No, I tried not to pay attention that for those couple years. I was kind of disappointed in the Ben Simmons, so I tried not to
Yeah, I know.
show my
I know.
Sixer fandom as much those couple years.
But
I was a recluse fan for a while.
easy as that. So USA defeat Brazil. Anyone got anything to say? I mean, Embiid did have 14.7 boards.
Once again, it's a coaching masterpiece. If you look at
Yeah.
it, who's going to stop? Who's going to start the next game? Because we know we've seen some of these teams falter. The United States are not like the women. The women have 8 gold medals in a row. The men do not. The men have faltered a few times. They've slipped a little bit here and there with their teams. So now the coaching is a huge deal to me. I'm watching. I'm seeing people bitching about this guy don't play this game or that game. Don't worry about it. They got really good coaching staff handling this, and they're doing it very well, in my opinion, from what I've seen. They're adjusting a lineup based on the matchups. They're adjusting the lineup based on what stars on the other team, or they've studied. It's not like the old days, like we talked about last week, where United States is the other team's just happy to be on the court with them. Nah, they're here to beat us. They're here to beat us. And you've seen the level. I'm going to take it all the way back to the in-season tournament. Remember when the level of play raised a little bit during the tournament, the in-season tournament?
Yes.
It wasn't huge, but we did see the level of play raise.
Yeah.
And then obviously at the end of the All-Star game, which was, that, and when you see that raising of the level of the playing like you do in the playoffs, it's noticeable to basketball fans, lifetime fans like us. And what I'm seeing is these United States Olympic players are not taking this lightly. They're playing for their country. They're playing with pride, and they're not like taking these players lightly from what I've seen. They're playing like they couldn't after South Sudan almost beat them in the preliminaries. How could they take them lightly? They had to go out and ball. To see LeBron play like he did 10 years ago, it's fun to watch. I love it.
Yeah.
To see AD doing phenomenal. Did you see AD dunking over people? And
That was crazy.
It's just phenomenal to see. KD breaking the record. Now he is the all-time men and women's basketball scoring leader of all time in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
That's phenomenal. That's KD. Yeah. And some people are saying it, and I'm starting to think about it. Is KD top 5 all time?
No.
He's in my top 10, though. I think he made my top 10 after, for his career. He's going to be in my top 10. Some people have him. Would you argue with someone who said he's in their top 5? I wouldn't. I wouldn't argue with that person. It's their opinion.
For sure.
What was that, Nikki? Nikki, what'd you say?
He's leading he's all-time Olympic leading scorer for USA. Top 5 USA Olympic player all time for sure.
Yeah.
NBA history? No.
Like NBA history.
I mean, if you're talking about a 20-some-year-old kid who's only seen LeBron and maybe a little Kobe, they might say KD's one of their top 5. I wouldn't argue with them. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's the greatest of all time, but you got to think about what he's done. He hasn't rained down championships. He's got a lot of criticism, but what has he really done bad? Is he really that? Is he? I mean, I would not argue with someone if they said he's top 10 all time. That's all I'm saying. Some have said 5.
I could see 10. I could see 10 to 15.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I would say top 15.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I don't think a lot of people probably will have him out of that top 20. And say he's not because he doesn't have a million rings. He's not this. He's not that.
Oh, that's stupid.
But if you look at how his game was in Texas, he was already that 7-footer shooting pure jump shots for threes where no one's going to block his fucking jumper. And he's pure in and out. He just hasn't been on the best teams. That's what I think. I think if he would have found the right combination throughout all these different teams he's played for, he could have been a solid bringing championships to a team. He's been on the wrong combination of teams. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, to be fair, the last 7 years,
form the next great super team.
Yeah, he's been on these let's make a super team thing, like Rio says, and they haven't been. A lot of super teams haven't worked the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, super team era is over. But
I think what hurts him a little bit, I guess, like in the all-time sense, is he outside of Golden State, he hasn't really led a team
Yep.
all the way.
And I wouldn't say it's over, Mitch, because I know we've talked about this. I think it's evolved to now, like over half the team, half the league has a big three. So it's not like the super teams are over. It's like a lot of teams have what people considered back then super teams.
I
No,
mean,
think
you
about-
look at the last two championships teams that
They're-
won.
Their teams. But if we look at the total NBA, we'll be able
Yeah.
to pick probably 10 teams that have 3 all-stars, right? So
Yeah, let
to
me look at it.
So to say there's like 10 quote unquote, if you go by the technical definition of a super team, it's 3 all-stars.
So you got Boston, right? You got Cleveland, because you got
You can
Jared
arguably put
Allen,
them in there.
Evan Mobley, Donovan Mitchell. You got the
3
Pacers.
just all-stars. If they've made the all-stars, they qualify for this argument. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Go ahead,
okay.
keep going. Yeah.
I mean,
So
I
I'm
was
just
gonna-
naming
Because I
teams.
wouldn't say Mobley and them are like legit superstars, but they've been in
Yep,
the all-stars.
I was like they're on a lower tier of big
Yeah,
three.
it-
That's what I was saying.
But people would consider that 3 stars on a team. Back in the day, you're lucky to have 2 or 3. Like the Malone and Stockton, they didn't have a third, so they wouldn't be. They had Malone and Stockton. You could argue Hornacek, who was great for a bunch of years,
Yeah,
but keep going. There's a bunch. Keep going. There's tons in the NBA right now. You
yeah,
say
there's
that
a
have
lot.
3
Yeah,
legit stars: the Suns,
Phoenix?
the Lakers, the Clippers, the Heat. You can go on. There's probably a dozen teams.
Clippers. What 3?
Well,
are on
before
the
Paul
Clippers?
George left last year, because they
and
had
then now
4
you're
last
saying
year.
Sixers now.
I don't have it this year to judge, so I'm judging off of last year's.
Okay,
competition.
last year. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Golden
Okay.
State before they lost Clay because they have Draymond. You still got to consider that a 3.
No, if you're going based off of last year, I'm with. I'm
Uh,
fine
I
with
would
it.
say a dozen or more teams have a quote unquote technically a big 3.
Yeah, you said Golden State, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mavericks, can you consider them? I'd say 2. We don't have that third
No.
that's a legit superstar yet, but we
Now
got
they
2.
do. Now they do. Not
Well,
yet.
based
It's
off of
borderline.
last
I
year,
would have
yeah.
called Clay a superstar. at this
Borderline.
Pacers don't have 3. You can say 2.
Mhm.
Halliburton and who? Siakam.
Halliburton, Siakam. Oh
All-
yeah, I thought Myers.
all-stars.
Didn't Myers Turner make one?
Miles Turner made the All-Star.
Turner, yeah. So you technically could say those 3 could be considered a big 3. And I wouldn't argue with it. Like you said, maybe the lower tier of the big 3, not the elite big 3. But listen,
Yeah.
let's go 20 years ago. We couldn't sit here and say 15 teams have a big 3. So like that's all my point is like it's not gone. It's just evolved that a lot of teams have multiple all-stars now. I love it. It's a good thing for the sport. Definitely.
Yeah.
Raise the whole
Yeah.
level of competition.
All I
And
can
that's why we
say
see
is-
parity.
All I can say is when it comes to the big 3, I know people, quote unquote, because of LeBron, and they get upset and they hate it. I always keep saying, y'all are arguing over stuff that's been in effect for decades. I mean, you can go back to the Sixers back when they had Malone, Dr. J, Andrew Toney.
I don't take no NYG. I don't think of a big 3 as how acquiring considers it a big 3. I know where you're coming from because back in the day, to get one, you had to trade to get the big 3. But nowadays, I'm just talking 3 all-stars or more, technically is the definition of the big 3. Lakers have 2. They have AD and LeBron. Who's the third? They don't have one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of teams that have 2
But
superstars.
Why is a big 3 a big issue though? That's
It's
my
not.
point.
My point is, back in the day,
Mhm.
there wasn't very many that had 3 all-stars on their teams consistently like they do now. Now
Oh, yeah,
there's more,
consistently, yes.
yeah,
You're right.
consistency. So it's more like more teams have gone out there with the mindset of super team type team. But like Mitch said, those aren't the ones succeeding as well now because we got 2 legit 1, 2, third string type teams that could come in with waves and beat you like the Nuggets and the Celtics.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, so I'm just saying it's a good thing. It's not a bad argument or a yes or no or who's right or wrong. It's just I don't think it's gone. I think it's evolved into a monster that only makes the NBA
It's
more
never going
powerful.
away.
Right.
It's never going to go in. It's never.
No, and
gonna
I
go
like how
away.
it evolved.
Boston 1-2. Tatum, Brown, then a bunch of good role
But
players.
right now, hey,
Love it.
and we can talk about Drew Holiday and Derek White have
Murray,
impressed the
good
fuck
role
out of me.
players.
They are superstars.
Drew
now.
Holiday is not a role player.
Yeah, Drew Holiday
Drew
and
Holiday
Derek
is
White.
look what he did with Milwaukee, and look what he's doing with
Drew
Boston.
Holiday
You
is
cannot
an
say he's a
all-star.
role player.
He's an all-star. You
Drew Holiday
all-star
might
at
be a
least.
Hall of Famer by the end of it. He may be a
He
borderline
may.
Hall of Famer.
If he
for what
stays
he's
with
done.
Boston, they win another ring or 2. Yes.
Yeah, he sticks around for a
Mhm.
couple more years and they have a little
Mhm.
dynasty there. I would give it to him. Right now, he's borderline. He's taken teams to titles. He's consistently had good numbers.
Yeah. I'm a huge
always
fan of
help
Drew
a team-
Holiday. I miss him on my
Yeah,
Sixers.
yeah. I
damn
was
it.
gonna say. But,
Why do
I
you
mean,
all have? You didn't want
Yep.
to talk about the Ben Simmons era. Why you bring me back even further with the Drew
Yeah.
Holiday?
yeah.
It's weird because Holiday and Iggy were like they were good number 3 guys, but as 1 and 2 guys, it wasn't enough. Like that's the weird thing about it.
See, I don't think it's unfortunate, Ghost. I think it's fortunate. A lot of people think that's a bad thing. That's
Like
kind of
the
where
Iggy
I'm going with
the
this.
Warriors.
I don't think it's a bad thing that there's a lot of technical big 3 super team type things now that people try to do. But it's not the end all be all. It's not the winning formula like Mitch just pointed out. Look at the teams that are winning now. You know,
Yeah.
you need more than just the 3 is what I'm saying. That's the bottom line. You
No,
can't
I get
just
what
have
you
3
see.
all
You know,
He said so.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal.
That's the
'Cause
bottom line.
When people debate or give a negative feeling towards a big 3, quote unquote, all I say is just really do your history. Go back into look at the Celtics of the 50s and the 60s.
Even the 80s.
They had more than a big 3.
Bird,
They-
McHale, and Parrish. That was a big 3.
Look at the Lakers when you had Magic, you had Kareem, you had Worthy.
Worthy.
I
That's
mean,
the big 3.
what I'm getting at, since the
Michael
Cincinnati-
Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman.
Yeah,
Tony
that when
Kukoc.
Rodman was there, I definitely.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
even Kukoc.
So the big 3 is it has always been here. So
Right.
it's not a bad thing. It's part of basketball. It has been here.
But
It's
the
just that-
difference is back then, Lakers, Sixers, Celtics,
Then they
Lakers,
were teams that
Sixers,
pretty much
Celtics,
formed on
Lakers,
its
Sixers,
own.
Celtics. That was the NBA elite because they had those all stars.
Nowadays,
Go to the
it's
other
like,
teams,
oh,
they
go
couldn't do
get
it. They didn't
someone
have the
else
money.
and
They
form
didn't
your
have the
big 3
means.
that way.
Look at every team that won a championship. Go look at the Portland Trailblazers when you had Walton. Look at his big 3 that was with him. Seriously, I mean, I get it and I understand. Probably, I don't know everyone. Some of you guys are younger, and I get it. And you're not looking at the history of basketball. But if you really sit down and you go back and you look at all the eras and you go look at the teams, there was always big 3s.
Yep.
The game has always progressed, and there's always been a quote unquote big 3.
Well,
It really
makes
has.
sense to want 3 stars. You know, it just makes common sense to want 3 all-stars on your team. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But now it's not just the elite teams that have them, and that's why we have this parity. That's why I have teams like Dallas that can easily make a run. We have teams like OKC that can lead the West. Did any of us have OKC winning the West this year? I didn't.
Mm-mm.
I thought it was going to be Denver again because they were pretty solid, pretty much the same damn team. But
Yeah, but now they got Russell Westbrook, and that might be a step back.
I don't think so. I mean,
It could be.
I'm gonna say the same thing about him and Paul George and these older players, like I've said before, that want to stick around for a
Yeah,
couple more
Westbrook
years.
got a 2-year deal.
If
So,
he takes a lesser role with them, he can be a valuable component. He doesn't need to be the man anymore. Just like Paul George doesn't. Now he's third to Maxey and Embiid, but he's still so valuable.
all right, BJ,
Yeah,
that
everyone's
okay.
allowed to their opinion. I mean,
Okay.
your opinion might be
Okay.
wrong, but
yeah, but it's I mean, we value
His
everybody's
opinion
opinion.
is his opinion, and I get it. I get about building through the draft and so on and so forth. But now you're saying that the teams are controlling and they have the narrative. I'm sorry. Players should have the right to take their talents wherever they want to go. Just that's their profession. That's just like somebody coming to everyone else who works and saying, "Well, you're with this organization, you can't go anywhere else." Sorry. Money
They're not-
talks and everything else walks. That's the reality of it. Players deserve in all sports. I
That's
know
in a lot of
fans.
professions. That's in a ton of professions.
Fans don't like it because you want the continuity and you want those players to grow with your organization, and I get it. I get it, but the bottom line,
Unpopular.
it's a business, and
Yeah.
players are part of the business, and they want to collect on their talents. So, and they want to have the right, because the bottom line, they're out there the ones performing. It's not the owners. It's not the general
Rodman
managers.
didn't get drafted by the Bulls.
huh? What was
I
that?
said
Okay.
all of those players didn't get drafted. Not all the players we were talking about got drafted by the team that they got successful with. Those are just examples. Because back then,
I'm like,
that's how it was back then. You only played with
Mhm.
the team that drafted you back then.
Yeah.
Or
And
you got
pretty much
traded.
stayed
Or
your
you
whole
got
fucking
traded.
career
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
I mean,
You
look
got
at
traded.
Barkley. Look
And
at
you don't
Barkley. He got
dictate-
fat, so he didn't play for the Sixers, and he still got drafted.
And back then, players would revert to the organization. They wouldn't be. You didn't hear a lot of that. Plus, there was no social media, so you don't know. Players might have been demanding where they go to. And I mean, I know this is football compared to basketball, but the Ayuk situation is very similar. He only wanted to go to 2 different teams.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to make a trade with those teams. He didn't want to go there, so it wasn't going to work out. So it depends on the contract. It depends on the player. It depends on the team. It depends on so many variables.
Evolution of sports, man.
Yeah, and I have no problem with it. And this type of
Right.
debate is healthy. It's a good for the sport.
Oh, yeah,
It's why basketball is so
I respect
awesome
what they're
right now,
saying.
the way it is. And it is all about the money.
Not the bodega.
You must
Acknowledge,
be
what
a
is this,
San
Roman Reigns?
Antonio Spur fan. Your
But it
team-
is a
who's
business.
Who's your team?
Why,
Ghost?
why is it not a business? Why? Wait a
All
minute.
the stars want to
Wait a
join.
minute.
together.
You must have missed the beginning conversation about the $1 billion player that's coming and the millions and millions of
Yes.
dollars they're getting. It's a business.
It's a business.
It's
man.
actually, I think today,
Look.
nowadays, it's more of a business than a game now than it ever was.
Look at AAU. Look at AAU right now. We're kids, and they're going to AAU teams because of the merchandising. What can they do? Some of these kids, everyone doesn't realize it, they're signing some NIL deals with the AAU teams.
Plus that the traveling teams and all this stuff, it has
Yes.
changed a lot. I just talked to that kid that knew Bronny James that is doing really well in my hometown right now. I talked to him. I said, listen, I'm following you on social media. You were just a little tyke here. Now you're in high school. You're averaging 20 points a game. You're taking your team to the States. And I see you in all these different uniforms. I was like, tell me about it. He's like, I've been to Las Vegas. I've been to Miami. I've been to Florida. We went to Alabama. We went to Kentucky. And we're traveling team. I was like, that experience, I'd like to sit down and pick these kids' brains because they're experiencing shit I would have loved to experience as a high school athlete.
Okay.
Wow, this
I
dude's
just got no
What are you
words
smoking?
now. I
Who's your
got no
team?
words.
We got to find out who his team is.
In the 24.
Or her. I don't know. Could be him or
Whoever
her.
chance.
Who's your NBA team? Shout it out. That's what
March
we're here
Madness.
for.
Watch it be the
Huh.
Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
If that happens, I'm shocked.
I mean, if you want to argue about college basketball changing, of course it has. It's like Coach said, it's evolution. It's not like
Everything
it's a
changes.
bad change. Yeah. We sit
But
here and compare
college
any
football
sport
recruiting's changed as well.
to 30
A lot
years
of-
ago. It's going to change.
The point is, everything changes and evolves over time. Everything
Yeah.
in sports and in life.
You're going to like some of it. You're not going to like some of it.
Yeah, I was saying about college basketball, like it's still anyone can win it. It's not like college football. I mean, with that, it's basically 4 or 5 teams that are going to be in the national championship.
Yeah.
Well, college basketball, it's a 64 team tournament. Everyone has the same opportunity to win it.
Right.
There wouldn't be a Cinderella thing if it wasn't parody in March Madness. There's always every year you see this little podunk school who does fantastic in college basketball. March Madness is still my favorite time of year.
I mean, I'll use my college as an example. University of Houston, 7-8 years ago, it's garbage. It was a garbage program. Like,
Yeah. And
I
when
could
I was a
find
kid, they were
team
dominant.
that could beat them, and now look at them. They're year after year in the Sweet 16, the round of 8, Final Four.
And it does cycles too, because I remember Rios when I was a kid. Houston was dominant in the playoff in the college. Louisville, Houston, there was a handful of teams that were
Here's
Five
here's
Slam
the
a
deal.
Jamma.
Here's the deal.
Woo!
Here's the deal that some people, and I get the perception. Perception is reality, but here's a fact of the matter, plain and simple. Okay, everything with these colleges is going to come from the NIL and the boosters and those who are involved. You get some major booster. Prime example is SMU University. SMU is considered is considered whatever mid-major, and they're now in the ACC. And they told the ACC, we won't take any TV money to come there. Why? Because they got major boosters kicking out money to the universe to the programs. So it's about the boosters, the donors.
Yeah.
How much money these schools
Hey, I
can
like that
make?
noise.
So
I like that
you could say in football, Alabama and Ohio State and all
Yeah.
these schools are going to be kicking out. But if you got a small school that's going
They
to
just had a winning seed. They're winning now, dude.
yes. I mean,
Like I said, they're the Big 12 now.
Someone who's not even paying attention.
here, and you know,
Let's not pay too
we will
much
all
attention to that, please.
laugh at this, but if Vanderbilt University in the SEC for football, if the rich pockets that are associated with that university really came back and kicked in money to that university, they would compete with all the SEC teams there.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So
I remember when
my university that I love, Rutgers University,
yeah.
same thing. Rutgers is always perceived as bottom of the barrel, but NIL is changing the game, and that's because, plain and simple, the NCAA was just they're drooling with money, hand over foot. Think about it. At least pro sports, you're paying players. College, they were making money. Universities were making money hand over foot. And that's why the kids went to the courts, and the court said, yeah, you're right. You're the ones generating that money. And that's where it all stems from. So you get sponsors and boosters and everyone who are going to give a university money. Yes, rich pockets.
I'm glad you brought up SMU because that's like, a perfect example. They were, when I was a little kid, no one knew who the frick SMU was until Eric Dickerson. Then all the money started flowing there.
Exactly.
All the sponsors came there. Then they had the death penalty because all their recruitment violations and shit, wasn't it? And then they had no team for a while, so they had to get it back. They had to wait. They paid the price for going too far.
With that SMU program was playing right now, they would be an elite program right now.
Both the NIL and the transfer portal will be corrected. They need to be fixed. They're great ideas, but they're the process.
Why is the transfer portal the problem? Because here's the thing, though.
It just needs to be fixed a little bit. There needs to be regulations on both.
Exactly, yeah, but here's the flip side. You can have regular college students transferring left and right, but that's not a problem. But yet, and still, athletes can't, or there's a problem with them transferring, them taking their talents to the best place that they can maximize their talents.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. The only thing I could see
when they leave your school, when you leave your favorite school, that's a problem.
That sucks. The only thing I can think of, maybe because I have no idea, it's a fresh topic. I've never put thought into it or any research. NIL and that needs to be kind of fixed or tweaked a little bit. The only thing I could see is like maybe you can't transfer 5 times in your, maybe something like that. Maybe cap. That's all. I think you're right, Coach. They should be able to go wherever they should go, and they should definitely be paid. I've been an advocate for that since I went to college and before. It just needs fixed. It needs tweaked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gordon Hayward retired from the NBA. People, see you later, Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
His career bouncing around and never filling up and getting hurt.
Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
Hurt a bunch of times and never filling your potential. Good job, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm glad you saved your money.
Yeah. But really quick, so I looked up when the next USA game is. Nikki is right. It's tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's tomorrow at 3.
3 o'clock. Yep.
I thought it was Saturday. All right.
Olympics are over this weekend, dude. Finals will be this weekend. Yeah, it's over. It's only 2 weeks. I wish it was a month. It makes me right now. I wish it was 3 more weeks.
Yeah. So tomorrow, USA plays Serbia. Are we going to get Joel Embiid versus Nikola Jokic again?
You have to.
Yeah, I would say that's the matchup.
I mean, you could say AD, but you probably want to start with Embiid, and then take it from there. First and foremost, it's going to draw eyes. That right there. I'm not saying AD won't draw eyes, but people, because of the past few league MVPs, who has it been? Those two.
Plus, there's a lot of people out there that say Embiid never shows up against the Nuggets. He can't handle Jokic, so it's a little rivalry. It's a little feud, which I dig.
He's starting to play a little bit better in comparison to his start. So
yeah, definitely. But the argument with a lot of Sixers fans is, or a lot of other fans say, "Oh, Embiid just can't play against the Nuggets. He can't handle Jokic. He's not as good as Jokic." That's the argument I've heard a lot. Which I want to see those two legit big men, because we don't have a lot of them anymore like back in the day. Go at it tomorrow, man. That'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Just don't sacrifice the game just for a fucking matchup between those two, because
Brown is not going to let that happen.
Yeah, and Serbia is no joke. They got a good team.
No.
They are no joke, and they're not just Jokic.
Can you imagine if they,
all the four of the teams are think about this. Think about this. The four teams that are left and two of the elite teams that are out in France and Canada. I was surprised Canada was out.
Yeah,
I really was, because I'm saying
I thought France
Canada
is
was
still in. Isn't it France and Germany in the other semi?
No, France is out. They lost.
no, France is in.
No, they
France
beat
is still in.
Canada.
Yeah, Wemby.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, they beat Canada.
France beat Canada.
Yeah, Canada's out.
Yeah, France.
Yeah.
France and the United States is rumored. That's the favorite to be the
Who
final.
are the final four? Wait a minute. I thought
It's USA versus Serbia,
And
and
I'm
then
looking at
it's
the
France
ladies. Maybe I was
versus
looking
Germany.
at the ladies. I might have been
France
looking
and
at the
Germany is
ladies.
other one.
Yeah, I can't. Rios, how would you feel for Wembanyama
Yeah, you're
against
right. You're right.
USA in the finals?
I wouldn't count out Germany just yet. They did win the FIFA.
And they
Yeah,
did beat France.
it's
too,
true.
right?
I
He's
know,
right.
but I just want to see Wemby play in the finals.
He's right. That is going to be a good game. Good semifinal.
France is in
Who's
both-
playing?
both
I
of them.
forget. I'm going to blank. Who plays for Germany?
Dennis Schrader.
Schroeder, the
Schroeder.
Wagner brothers,
Oh,
Wagner,
yeah.
whatever his name, Trice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have some.
They
They
have
have
a
some.
solid team.
Yeah, they have a solid team. So
No
Yeah.
superstars, but they got-
the homeland definitely has a squad. So,
Yeah.
I'm outside of the United States. I'm rooting for Germany. So
Yeah. I'm moving for France. I just want to see Wembanyama play against like Embiid and these guys.
I do too. But at the same time, and I've said this a couple weeks ago, I would not be mad if the U.S. does not win the gold.
Yeah.
Because then we're either talking about Wemby dropping 50 on us or something, or we're talking about Schroeder scoring 40 and Germany beating us in the final or something. So that's a completely different story. I have no problem. Like Coach just said, even with the two teams that are out, or at least Canada, who was one of the favorites, we got four really good teams in the semifinals. So there's no excuse if the United States ends up with silver or bronze. I'm cool because these are good teams.
I was thinking about Greece. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Greece.
Yeah, you thought
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Giannis, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But it's been fun to watch. I found some new players that I really like. Brazil had some really good players watching, and I like that, I like finding new talent.
Brazil.
I do too.
I wish they would have had cheerleaders because them Brazilian women. I like Brazilian women.
See, that's where I miss Jeff. That's where I miss Jeff. R.I.P. Jeff, because he would mess with me because he like Coach Brazil. Oh yes,
Yeah.
from the World Cup with that one lady. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
So actually, Coach Jalen Brunson, who I thought honestly should have been on an Olympic team, but he's now the captain of the New York Knicks. Honestly, I thought he was already the captain.
who's
I
that?
thought he was already given that.
Wait till Julius Randle comes back. They're gonna have to fight. There's gonna be a boxing match for them two to have for captain. Yeah, Randall's gonna be like, "It's me. I'm the boss. You had 1 year, Joe. I've been here longer than you."
Randall
All
knows.
right, what we talk about now?
Brunson's
Randall
the
kn-
captain of the
Brunson.
Knicks.
Well,
Yeah.
to me, not to be condescending, but no shit. We kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, I mean, he was in an MVP debate. How could he not be the captain for next year?
Exactly.
I thought he already had it, but go Coach.
No. As you, Mitch, I will say this. I know he should, people say he should have been, but they forget he's coming off of an injury. So he wouldn't have been able, because remember, he got injured against Indiana Game 7. So that
Who was our
Yeah.
captain this year? Who was our captain this year then?
So I think it would. I don't think you technically he wasn't. I don't think anyone was named per se because they just went down the list of the named captains, and I had it.
Like, I don't even know who the Sixers captain is. Is it Embiid?
They don't make. I
Like,
mean, it's not like a hockey thing where you get a C on
It's
your
not
chest
like
and all that.
hockey,
Shit, you know what I
no.
mean? So I mean, yes, it's news. It's something to talk
But
about.
it's like baseball. I mean, it's like with the Yankees. Yankees technically the only captains they had. Now they have Aaron Judge, but before that it was Derek Jeter.
Well, how about Captain Jaylen Brown? No, Tatum. No, Jaylen Brown was the captain of that team. If you watched him coaching on the floor and
Yeah.
running the show,
See, but that's the difference.
That's a captain to me.
You see, that's the thing. You're talking about based on the personality, the action, and how they act on the court. But
the captain of your team.
Who game officials will talk to and things of that nature. I think a lot of times with a lot of NBA teams, it's usually the coach. The coach is the one that, because the referees will go to the coach. Think about it. They really do. The coaches are right there. It's not it's not like football when you're on a big field and you have such they turn to the head coach and what do you want to do, blah blah blah. Jalen Brunson is an extension of Tom Thibodeau on the court. So now you can just go right to him. So I don't think the Knicks had anyone. I think since Melo. I think it was since Melo.
Really?
Honestly, I didn't even know you needed to have a captain.
I didn't either. I didn't either. So that's why I brought this up. I was like, huh? Like the only captain I know was Charlie
Caveman.
Conaway. With Charlie Conaway from the Mighty Ducks.
Oh,
Let me
geez.
see.
What? That was a great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie,
Let
King.
me see if I can find Knicks fan TV. Let me see what I know he talked about it. Knicks fan TV. Drill extension. Oh wow, I didn't know that.
What?
The Knicks signed Kevin McCullough Jr. to a 2-way contract. Woohoo. Oh, okay. No, he's the first captain since Lance Thomas in 2018.
Yeah, so it's not it's not like
Mm-mm.
a hockey thing where you always name a captain. They just felt like naming one this year. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on being named captain.
I honestly thought he was already it. It was just like, oh,
I mean, technically, without the title, towards the end of the year, you saw him leading the team on the court and everything. So I would consider him. I'm sure he would consider a captain for this year, MVP.
So we already covered Gordon Hayward retired.
Yeah, I just brought that up. I forgot. I skipped over Jalen Brunson. I was just like, I just wanted to
I was
get
like,
off that.
wait.
We were stuck on the NIL shit for a while. We can
Didn't
talk about that. for
someone else
hours.
retired too? Jordan Lamb or something? I saw someone put it in the chat earlier.
Who?
Was it Lamb? Someone named Lamb retired.
Jeremy Lamb?
Jeremy Lamb?
Yeah, I saw this like yesterday. I gotta bring up the comment now. Oh, it's gonna bother me. Jeremy Lamb retired. Yep.
Congratulations on your retirement, Jeremy Lamb.
Give him a little, give him a little bit of mint jelly or whatever, and send him on his merry way.
Give him a cookie.
Yeah. And
Go
you
sit
know
on your
who are
rocking
not?
chair.
You know who's not going to retire? Charles Barkley. He said he's not going to retire, and he would stay with TNT to complete his 10-year, $200 million contract.
No, duh.
I know, right?
I mean, when he said he was going to retire, I was just like,
Sure.
I didn't know about this contract thing. So it's like, of course, why not? I mean, all they have to do, like I've said before, TNT Sports fucking YouTube channel or something, and have them do a pre-show,
His own
post-show.
streaming service.
Yeah, just do your own. If you're contracted to TNT, stick it out. I mean, that's a pretty healthy contract, so I don't blame him. I love Chuck. I've been a fan of him for a long, long, long time. I love his personality. I love the way he approaches the game. I think he's hilarious. He
I
reminds
love
me
how he
of just
talks shit about San Antonio.
He's not going
the dude
anywhere.
I'd like to sit down and watch. But now it's like, how will he be presented? Like, they don't have the contract. So him and TNT still have a contract. What will they do with it? So they must have something in the plans, or else Barkley wouldn't have announced that.
Yes.
I
Crazy.
mean, Charles Barkley, what's he going to do? Commentate on golf? That'll be terrible.
That'd be
Yeah, I'm
hilarious.
sorry,
Hey, we
that's
got
not gonna
Snoop Dogg commentating National Geographic, which is gold.
Hey,
So
that's good.
So it's
Oh,
gold.
yes.
Do
I
you know
forgot all
Snoop's
about
getting?
those.
Do you know what Snoop's getting paid in the Olympics?
He's getting reimbursed for $500,000 per day.
$1,000 a day.
Really?
So he
Mhm.
is living life as
Mm-hmm.
the U.S. mascot over there, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just thought
Literally.
he was a famous person that wanted to go watch the games, but no, he's legit being employed by the U.S. Olympic team.
I thought he was being reimbursed, so he's kicking out the money first, and then the United States.
There was something else that he gets too, because I saw the report and they were like, he's getting $500,000 a day plus something else, and I was like, huh? I was like,
Mhm.
of course. Plus, it's not like he's not worth it. talk about money. That motherfucker's worth every penny. Go watch him commentate Equestrian with what's her name? The old lady that went to jail. His boy.
Martha
With
Stewart.
him and Martha Stewart commentating Equestrian when the horses quit crip walking. The horse does that little side to side thing.
Mhm.
It's hilarious. And she and him play off each other so well. They could have a fucking podcast and make gazillions.
And Playboy got banned. I just noticed that.
But Charles Barkley would need a partner though that he could have great chemistry with to do something like that.
Shaq.
Ernie-
just put hit-
Ernie's
Shaq-
not going. Ernie's not going anywhere either. Ernie's
No.
still there. So
You need Ernie and Chuck for something.
So TNT can just have a once a week. Remember, what did NFL have back in the day? It was on HBO all the time.
Inside
NFL
the
had it.
NFL.
inside the
Inside the NFL, Nick Bonacani, and they had it was that weekly.
Marino.
That's where I got my information about the other games. You
Yeah,
didn't
that's-
see other football games back then. There was no
Right.
red zone. There was no
Right,
national.
my dad was a big fan of Inside the NFL, and that's how, as a kid, started watching with him, and that's how I first learned who Dan Marino was, because he would tell me a little bit about Marino.
You get
that's how I
Chuck and
learned
Ernie
about his
together, whether
playing
Shaq and,
days.
and Penny are there or not, inside the NBA on TNT Sports once a week. I'll watch.
Yeah,
You got me as a viewer. I'll keep watching. It doesn't have to be during a game. It can be once a week. I don't care what time of day. It's the year of it's the time of streaming and recording and DVR type shit anyway. So you don't have to be there for the live show. But yeah, they should put together a show and keep going.
Yeah. Last but not least, Brandon Ingram. I forget who said it, but Utah Jazz are a sleeper candidate for Brandon Ingram. I don't think that's going to happen now with Laurie Marketing getting that extension.
Mm-hmm.
If Brandon Ingram he's not going anywhere. I'm just going to be honest. No team wants him for that kind of money. I think he's stuck. Not stuck, but the Pelicans, you put this great team, and Brandon Ingram wants more money, which is understandable. You're allowed to get your own money. I get that. But look at his team. They're just missing a center now. They're just missing a center. So I like Brandon Ingram on the Pelicans. I do. I don't know about you guys, but
I just don't like the name Pelicans.
I mean, he's a good. Yeah, right. I mean, he is a good fit on that team, but like when it comes to the type of money, because we talked about this a few months ago, he wanted big time money. It's like he's not worth that type of money. Sorry, but you're not LeBron, Steph, KD, AD type player. You're a solid player with the right team around you, but you're not that guy.
Yeah.
What's the market you're calling for right now? That's the thing. Now you have to look at the market and compare him to a lot of other players in his level. Guys are getting 250 mil.
I mean, he's good. And it'll depend on how many years. But like Nikki just said, coming out of Duke, he was forecasted to be perennial all-star, real super, and he hasn't panned out. So I
he
see
was
where
supposed to be
Nikki's
the
coming
next
from.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah. Tall,
But-
lanky,
but
inside and out. He never
exactly.
panned out. He's a good
He
role
never
player.
panned
right
out.
now, though.
But the issue, the question is though, based on the market price, because if you're saying is he worth $150 million,
Are we talking 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? That means
Because-
is he worth 212,
He's-
220?
He's not worth that much, no.
you're worth $30 million a year. I don't think so.
Well, I think that the fact that no team wants to trade for him kind of tells
Yeah,
you
that's
what it really is.
That's an eye opener. Like, why haven't teams been talking about trying to get him?
Okay.
Maybe it's his contract. I mean, after so long, you sign a contract coming out of college or after your first
So
non-rookie contract, and you don't perform. You got to realize you're gonna have to take a pay cut if you don't perform year after year.
So on the average year, and what the price per average year, whatever they say it is, in comparison, what is he worth? Is he worth 25 mil? You said he's
Honestly,
not
I don't
worth
even
30
think
mil.
he's 20. I don't even think he's 25. I don't even think he's above 20, honestly.
Ooh,
Maybe around 20,
wow.
but I don't think he's that good. I
You're
mean,
around
really.
20. If
Solid-
it's like a two-year, $40 million to
Yeah.
try to lock him into a team, something like that. And then if he
I
does
don't
perform
see it.
better, then he can go back up to the 30 if he does improve. I mean, we could go back to, is it the right fit, right? But I think, like Mitch said, it is a good fit where he is. But, you know, can
But
he find a
isn't
better
he the
fit?
number two? Isn't he the number 2 option over there behind
No.
Zion?
Not really.
He's supposed to be, but you know who I put as number 2? DeJounte Murray. I'll put
Well, that's
DeJounte
now that
Murray
he's
as the number
coming
2
in.
option.
I'm talking about prior to Murray coming in there. Was he
Prior to him coming, yes, he is the number 2 there.
Right, you're saying
but-
he's going down to a number 3. So across the league, what is the number 3 player averaging on these rosters? Now, if you're saying
Oh
it's
no,
20,
it's Tobias. How much did Tobias worth last year?
Yeah.
and what was he averaging last year?
Not
15,
enough.
15, 18.
He was getting
He was like
low
50
last
points
year.
a
I thought he
game.
was in the 20s, almost 30 mils.
Who? Tobias?
He was
Yeah.
scoring 15.
He was scoring.
made-
No,
15.
I said,
30.
that's what I said. As a
Yeah.
number 3 player, what was the average they were making in terms of money?
Yeah, Tobias made like 40 mil.
Okay, and y'all said he was way too much, but across the league, that's the key word. Across the league, if you look at the number 3 players on all the teams, what are they averaging?
You'd have to look into that and get numbers.
Like, I
no
could
one's
tell you-
going to be able to spit that out. It's a lot of research.
No, I get you. That's why I'm
I mean,
saying.
I'm looking at the teams right now on ESPN. I'm
And don't
just going
forget
off
this
my
year-
head here.
this year with the because even my Knicks have hurt the market because of the money that because players are going to look at that and they're going to use that, and that's going to up the
Like
average.
Hartenstein. How much did Hartenstein get?
He's getting 29.
Okay, so is Brandon Ingram better than Hartenstein? I would think so.
Yeah.
So maybe he will
That's-
get 30.
That's why I'm saying.
But
that's
last
why-
year, Ingram was 14, 4, and 4. That's
I'm
not
not
good
coming
enough
up
for
with-
me. From what the
Hey,
from
we
what
can,
to get 30 million.
you can argue that, but still, the bottom line is when they go into contract negotiations, they take a look at the league and they compare across the spectrum, the whole league. We can sit here and say, well, he's not worth this. None of these players are worth it. Nikki brought that up earlier.
That's why I said they do contracts for you got to project what they could be.
Well,
Because if you're doing 4 or 5 years, you don't know what they're going to be in 4 or 5 years. So you got to kind of guess.
It's a catch
And then you
22.
pay based on the
It's-
average of the league. Like
It's
okay.
not just projection. It's also what you did.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, of
it-
course it's what you did, but I'm just saying
Sometimes that
when
can
they're
be
looking
put
at
on
4 or
the
5
teams
years
down the line
contracts,
with the wrong contract, like Nick.
they're looking on
Batum
what they
or
could be worth.
Tobias, just to name a few.
Yeah, Harden's market. Yeah,
His market, but he
around.
got 29.
he got 29.
Yeah,
So that's the
he-
first example I could think of. If Ingram
No,
would
and
go
that's a
somewhere
great
else
one.
and he got 30, I would think that over the last how many years, Hartenstein had one really good year last year. He fit well
Exactly.
with them, but is he better than Ingram over the years? Right now, I would say no. Ingram has more consistency over the years. We don't know what it's going to be like in 3 or 4 years, but that's good,
Mhm.
like a bar to level it on because
Who's
we've
the
seen
number- who's the
Hartenstein
number-
get better.
Who's the number 3 with the Lakers right now? Is it Hachimura or is it what's his name?
I think it's D'Lo.
Russell, yeah.
Well, I think
And what is
D'Lo's
no?
way out.
Russell's a free agent, right? Isn't he a free agent right now?
Yeah, he's
So-
not locked in for this year. If
Yeah.
that's what you're asking, yeah.
Yeah,
Last
but what-
year he was probably the number 3 if you would.
And what was he making last year? I think he was making what 25, 30. That's why
Yeah.
I'm saying like Ingram. That's why when people say when Blaze said 19, I'm like that's cheap.
For a short I was thinking if it's 20 for 2 years. If he's going 5 years, it might be 200 million and he'll get 30 or 40.
That's why I'm saying like
As the
I'm
bigger
looking.
contracts are longer, I could see them.
He was
paying him
making
30.
like 18 mil. Russell was making like 18.7 mil.
Okay, so he's making 18 mil. Okay. So I mean, then I may be wrong, and Blaze is 1,000% correct.
I'm just saying if
Yes.
Ingram continues to only get 14, 4, and 4, he's not worth 30 million to me.
That's why
And
no.
what-
Like I said, I
Yeah.
don't even think he's worth 20.
Yeah.
Honestly, Brent,
That's fair,
like I
that's
think
fair.
our
And
And
crew
he's a
said it
Dookie.
here.
I don't like Dookies, and I thought he was going to be.
I don't
huge
like
when he
Duke
came out.
either.
When he
But,
came out, I thought he was going to be big time, like you said, another KD type player or something. But
Yeah.
it panned out.
Doesn't always
What?
work out like that.
yeah, what
Just
was
because you got
making
the
Ingram-
frame and part of the game.
Hey Blaze,
Yep.
you just
Don't
said he's
believe the hype.
you said he's a what? He's a what? You were talking about Brandon Ingram. You said he's a what?
I don't know. I just said a lot. Okay.
You just
He's a
said he's a
dookie.
dookie.
Dookie, yeah.
So isn't that a pause?
Yes, it does
I'm
have
waiting for
a
someone.
no. That's a double entendre, is what it is. Because it definitely has double meaning.
So
When I say
you-
Dookie, I mean it more
No,
than one way.
I know what you meant.
I always say it more than one way.
Yeah, I'm with you.
wait,
So,
Blaze, how much did he say Brandon Ingram was averaging?
you said
14.
14.
Oh, that says
Oh, because I'm
postseason.
looking here on
Is it-
Basketball
it
Reference. It says
it loads-
20 points.
It loads in postseason first when you bring up ESPN. So yes,
Oh,
it's 20,
I'm on Basketball
24
Reference,
20
so it says
20,
like
24 and
20.8.
24 and 5 is what it says.
24 and 5. That
5 rebounds, 5 assists, 20 points.
This is what it says here.
1.8.
20.1, 5 and 5. So 21, 5 and 6. Shooting
So
on
that must-
50 and 36 shooting splits.
20.8. Yeah, 5.1, 5.7.
look what my
It's
Knicks
still
just-
right around this. I mean, it's not that big.
It's
look
not
what
that
my Knicks
much.
just give. What did my Knicks just give to Bridges? Think about that.
My only
That's
point
why I
is
said
Brandon
that.
Ingram has not amounted to what he was supposed to.
No,
That's
well,
my
that's
only
fair.
point.
That's
That's
he
all I'm
was.
saying. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
want to talk about. I don't have all the information to talk contracts and stuff. So all I can say is Ingram has not amounted to what we thought he was going to be. There's an, we'll see if that guy does.
He's getting what, 22 million a year? 23 million a year.
that was last year. Wait a minute. He's getting 23.
He got 20. He's going to get 25. Oh, there you go.
This is Mikael Bridges. He's
Thank
getting
you.
23.3 and then 25.
He signed the 5. Wait. Oh no, he traded for his contract. I'm thinking of OG. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about OG
Yes,
for
I
a
wouldn't
second.
pay Ingram more than what Bridges is getting.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fair.
Below him.
Hey, there's,
Yeah.
I mean, and I always argue this comment too. Put Ingram in a different team, different system, different coach. Maybe he will amount to more of what he did in college.
And if you look at my Knicks too, between Bridges and OG, look at OG. OG's getting over 40, and he's definitely either number 3 or number 4 option on the Knicks. This is why I say when you look at the market, the average, that's where I'm going. We could sit here and say, okay, Bridges, you can argue he's a number 3, number 4, along with OG, they're about the same. Now you take those two contracts, 40 and 23, then you try and get the average off of that, and that's where I was going. With whoever across the whole league. When you sit down and you go through teams and you say, well, what are their number 3 players? Because we're saying he's a number 3 player right now. That's what we're saying with what you call it coming in. So if he wants his money, you trade him. Again, like you said, what team is he going to? Is he going to be the number 2 option? Then he's going to want more money. But if he's a number 3 option, that team is going to say, you're the number 3 option coming here. This is what we're going to offer you. What is the average that most teams get across the players get? You take a look at that, and then you want to adjust accordingly. Look, some guys are going to get a little bit more in the pecking order. 'Cause when you say, you look at each team, he's going to be better than this number 3 player, but he's not going to be better than that number 3 player. So now you try and figure out the money. It's tough, and like Blaze says, you don't have all the information.
There's
You're
a lot of
just
variables. Like
speculating.
right now, I just looked up his career stats. I take
Mhm.
back what I said earlier. This
Mhm.
dude has averaged 23, 22, 24, 20, 23, 24 in New Orleans. 20.8 was his lowest in the past 6 years. He was 18, 16, and 9 with LA. So the dude scoring 20 points a game, 25 points a game.
You know
Yes,
what
I'll
that
put him in the
says?
$30 million. That's $30 million man, according to the rest of the league, without me
Now-
seeing all
now-
the contracts. I take back
And you know,
what I said
Blaze,
earlier.
what you just showed too, because he's playing in a small market, we don't hear and see about him on a
True.
regular basis. Where in LA, you see and you heard about him on a regular basis. So
Throw
yeah,
him with the Lakers right now, and that's all we're talking about is LeBron, AD, and him together.
Him to-
Three,
exactly.
Yeah.
so
And
and
he
now
would be a big 3 because he's
Mhm.
he's so I didn't know he was averaging 22 and 23. I thought he
So-
was around, I thought he was around
Would-
15, 17.
I
So-
really think now his numbers might drop because of DeJounte Murray now and CJ
And-
McCollum.
that might
Yeah,
be the
Zion.
reason why he wants to go now.
Yeah,
That's
true.
probably going to be a
But he said he wants
Exactly.
over 200 mil, and I don't think he's worth that much.
No.
How many years? That you see that
But
just
he
throwing
wants a
200
max
mil out
contract.
doesn't
He wants
matter
like
unless
that's
5
you
years.
5 years. That's
Yeah.
5 years now.
Yeah, that's
not
poor.
going to
Yeah.
work.
I would give
Hold
him 1
on.
year at 30, and then if he proved it, then you get that max contract.
Right.
Because he's on the verge. Don't get me wrong. Put him in a different team, he might be that perennial all-star he was supposed to be.
Yeah, because if he wants 200 million on the 5-year deal, so that's 40 million a year. Is he worth 40 million a year? No.
Right now, no, that's
So-
why I say
Okay,
if it's
that's
30
fair. That's
for
fair.
1 year or 20 for 2 years, I would say that.
You know what?
And then if you perform,
So-
yes, you're worth give him the max if he proves it.
Right here, according to NBA, according to Shams, he is seeking an extension that pays him 45 to 50 mil annually.
I would
That's
seek it too.
damn
I would seek 50. I would
Yeah,
seek 60
Of course you
million.
would.
Of course. Why
Yeah,
not?
I'm just saying.
Seek all the money you can get.
Yeah, I'm
You
not
can
mad
ask
at that.
100 people
Believe me,
if
I'm
they-
not mad at that when it comes to money. If you guys know why.
I know.
But-
Just ask 100 NBA fans if they think. You ask 100 NBA fans if they think $50 million a year is a lot. You're going to get a lot of people that are going to think it's just a game. It's too much money. They don't know why they're getting that much money. The conversation we had earlier. So I would say over half of the people would probably say, yeah, 50 million is too much money. The general public don't understand.
Look
Like
at the
we
Knicks
talked
fans, though. That would put him somewhere in the top 15 highest paid players. Is he in the
Yeah.
top 15 as best players in the league? No.
And that's another thing, like we talk about performance. What he's thinking is that he is going to make another jump and be in that top 15 and justify the 50 million. So he's betting on himself, which you can't argue with that. I would do if I was him. But we'll see. I mean, am I rooting for him as a human being? Sure. I don't care if he went to Duke or not. I'd love to see a player get his career rejuvenated and do better on a different team if he can. Here's the question we're not asking. Where?
But-
No,
That's why no one's traded for him, because if he wants that, no one's going to give him that.
Yeah.
Kind
Where? Who's going to give him that? Number one. You can ask for that all you want. Doesn't mean you're getting it.
I don't think anybody's going to give him that.
I mean, I deal in
Maybe.
sports collectible cards. When I try to deal with somebody, I'm going to overbet first, hoping they want to come down and pay for the price I really want. So that's all.
I
he's doing.
could
He's betting on
really see
himself.
Utah. I could really see Utah if they didn't give Lauri Markkanen that extension. If they didn't give him that extension, I think that would have been a perfect fit.
If he was in the plan, Mitch, maybe they would have worked it into Markkanen's extension, which it doesn't look like they did based on that extension, is what Mitch is saying. I agree.
What about Portland?
Jeremy Grant wants to stay in Portland. He just said that like 2 or 3 days ago.
Okay.
So if he wants to stay, then that's good. I don't understand why, but if Brennan, that would be a good spot for Ingram. Well,
No, but what's his current contract value right now? Because remember,
Yeah,
when
I
you
got
trade, you gotta do dollar for dollar, pretty much. Oh wait, man! Unless you're under the first apron, if you're under the first apron, I think you can go over or under.
he signed a 5-year, $160 million. That's Jeremy Grant's contract.
No, okay, that's his contract. What's Ingram's? What's his contract? What's his yearly value right now? Because 5 years, 160.
Mitch is the money man. He's got all the numbers over there, Mitch. I'm not going to say why, but I'm just going to say you're the money man.
5 years,
I love that.
160.
But
know
I,
you do. That's right.
I can't respond.
You're the money man.
I
You're the right
could.
man to be looking up the money numbers. Go for it, Mitch. Keep going.
32 million.
That's 32 mil a year. So
Hardcore
Then
sports.
I'm good.
Pound.
yeah. So
Yeah, 33 mil. Yep.
There you go.
30,
so
33.
and right now, Brandon Ingram is making how much again?
33 mil a year.
So yeah, if you were to trade 1 for 1, then you could do that with those two players because their dollars amounts are pretty much the same. It's a $1 million difference, And trust me, he
I'll
may
take that
say
million.
he wants to stay in Portland, but you put him on a team like New Orleans, he will, because you're going to be competing for playoffs at least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if Zion can
So-
stay healthy, the new additions can stay healthy. They have
Br-
hopefully
Yeah,
a very
Brandon
good team.
Ingram's. It's Brandon Ingram's. It's 5 years, 158 mil.
So now, if you trade him to Portland, Portland can then give him that max money because they're under the they can afford it.
See,
Yeah.
so me saying my comment earlier, I totally retract about the 30 million. He's already making it.
He's already making it.
See, that's what I mean. If I have all the numbers in front of me, I could give you a more educated answer and debate. But without knowing everybody's, like having all the salaries in front of me and stuff and give me a couple hours to look over it, it's tough to really make a judgment, but it's a fun debate because it's like you see these players, and like I just said, I'm always rooting for a player to rejuvenate their career. I love that story. I will be a fan of that story over and over and over, unless it's a Dallas Cowboy or a Cleveland Brown. But seriously, I mean, you hear it
Oh
over
yeah,
and
can
over.
Brandon Ayuk please go to your team?
Well, there's rumors
Please.
he's already in Latrobe at training camp, so we'll see. It sounds like it's a done deal. Just work out I don't want to get into it because I'll talk about that for an hour. And
Yeah, me too.
Shannon
But
Sharp, Shannon
yeah,
Sharp, another
so
Kentucky
this
boy.
is the depth chart right now for Portland.
Oh,
Man, I feel so bad for
Yeah.
Scoot
They
Henderson,
got
man.
so much talent. Look at all the talent in there. I mean,
no, Ingram doesn't fit. I'm sorry because he's a small forward. You just got Denny
Vita.
Avdija.
And Scoot
Yeah.
Henderson could pan out. I'm
Yeah,
not giving up on
can't.
him yet.
Oh, I
I can't.
love Donovan Clean. That was a
Klingon
great
can be a
draft
good
pick.
one. Yep.
And they
I
still
think-
want to. Portland does want to trade. There's rumors of them wanting to trade DeAndre Ayton. So if
Oh,
they
please.
do trade DeAndre
That might be
Ayton,
that might be like a mid-season type trade or something. I could see them.
yeah,
if Klingon,
trade deadline. Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
Klingon is
But that's
panning
for
out,
something
yes,
else.
give it a shot. Try to
Mhm.
I
try
can
to
see
dump
that
Ayton
being
if
for a
Klingon.
different
So I was
package.
wrong about Portland. So again, like I said, I don't know the rosters, but
Yeah, it's hey,
who
that's
would
why we do it.
pay him? Yeah, he's
Glad
already
we-
at 33, 32.
I was going to
Mhm.
say Orlando, but they just give Wagner one of them.
No, they only
Yeah.
take guards. They only take guards.
Isn't
I know.
Wagner a power forward anyway?
He's coming
Yeah.
off
He's
a
like
high
a small
Olympics
forward, power
last
forward,
year.
yeah.
Okay.
It's so
Yeah,
tough to talk position anymore. It's
Yeah.
so close
It-
to position.
yeah, you can't. You
I mean, it's still technically there, but
but you can look at him and say
Yeah.
he can't go down in the box and defend anybody. There's no way.
not all. He's an in and out guy, if you ask me.
Yeah. So
In and out.
that's why I say that in and out burgers are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A guy I'd want to be able to spot up and drive and post up.
Mhm.
I want he has the whole gambit. That's what I mean. Like if he pans out, he can end up being a perennial all-star. I mean, he's already putting up the points with a team
Yeah,
that
you got me.
we'll see.
And
We'll
YG's gonna hate me for this. He can go to the Brooklyn Nets.
I was going to say Brooklyn. I honestly was going to say Brooklyn. I was thinking Brooklyn because I was looking at the team.
That might be an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
Well, because now, if that happens, hypothetically speaking, if that happens, would he be the number one or would Cam Thomas be?
You got to stay with Cam.
Damn.
You got to
I
stay
would
with Cam, right?
It's his team, and
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
he could easily fit into number 2.
yeah,
So
until
that's
someone
fine.
comes in,
Yeah.
takes over. Ingram comes in, he could. I mean, he's at 22, 23 right now. He comes into that team. Maybe he ends up competing with the
Yeah,
MVP
but
players scoring
remember
30,
when he
you
was
know?
when he was in LA, wasn't he the number 1 out there and had a hard time?
I thought he was in LA with the first run of D'Angelo and like when
And
wasn't that-
Lonzo. right?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was with
yeah.
Lonzo, D'Angelo.
Isn't that like right when LeBron went there and shit?
Yeah,
Who's the one that
right
traded-
before LeBron went. Right
Yeah.
before LeBron went.
Yeah, he was there because that's when they traded for AD. So
And they got rid of all that talent that ended up being good outside of that team. Like
And
they
then
bring D'Angelo
Lon-
back.
And then you get
Kuzma.
Lonzo, who can't stay healthy.
Lonzo, yeah. Go back to that team and see if they would all panned out. That would have been a hell of a team.
That would have been fun to watch. I'm not joking.
you
That
have
would be
LeBron.
fun to watch.
Should have kept
And
them all.
would
and
Brandon
had LeBron.
Ingram, tolerate to play with Ben Simmons? I'm just wondering. They were in the same draft class. No, wait, no, were they? Yes, yes, they were.
What, we have to talk about Ben Simmons.
Hey, Brandon Ingram's in the same draft class.
Well, Ben Simmons
So
is
is a whole bunch of other people.
So it's a mute point.
So is
I mean,
Yeah.
they need someone, a veteran, to help with their rebuild.
Actually, when you think about it, they might be able to offload Ben Simmons' contract because of the money.
Right.
Ben Simmons, comeback player of the year, 2025. Here it comes.
Are you going to make that every single year?
Are you going to say Jordan
Yeah.
Poole again?
Hey, you know what? And it makes
Hey,
sense
hey,
because
hey.
he went.
If
And
he
Ben
can do that
Simmons,
thing if he can do the thing in the locker room again, I might just
but
do
don't
that.
forget Ben Simmons. Where did he go to college? LSU,
LSU.
Yeah,
Louisiana, New Orleans. I'm just saying.
there you go.
You know,
Yeah.
NYG would love that in a heartbeat.
And again, why would the Pelicans make that trade? Like, why would you give up your?
Can they trade the name Pelicans?
because what you call a contract. This is last year, so then you would open up for whatever he's. I think he's a
Oh, okay.
37 to 40 mil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Expiring contract. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Imagine if you're Zion. I'm here and I play for the New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh, they just traded the name rights to the Pelicans to Portland. So now it's the Portland Pelicans and the New Orleans Trailblazers. All right.
Oh gosh.
I'm telling you, that's not the worst name. The worst name is the Commanders. That is the worst name. It's either that or the
Discussion
or
every
the
week.
Guardians. It's either that Commanders
Guardian
are the
and Commander
Guardians.
are cool names. You just don't like them because
Left hand
they're not
up.
bad names. That's bad. That theme song is horrible. Pelicans is terrible. If I hear Guardian, I
left
might be
hand
afraid
up.
to Guardian.
Left hand up.
Jordan Poole's left hand, right hand.
Jordan Poole lives and walks. He plays for us.
There you go.
That all makes sense.
Comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Come all over your back.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
I'm gonna pick that every single year. I'm gonna pick that every single year.
Everybody needs a good come under back player of the year. There you have it.
All right, guys. Enough
Now get off
of
the
this
rails.
comeback player of the year. It's time to close out this episode of the Pick and Roll podcast because Nikki is going live at 7 o'clock to talk about Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. What's going on with that? So,
Ooh, they're trading her. Uh-oh.
I got my
Uh-oh.
7-2.
Uh-oh.
Pickett taking the reins. Pickett taking Philly to the Super Bowl.
tell us at halftime.
Please.
Please. All right. On that note, guys, make sure you hit that like,
Yep.
hit that
7
sub.
p.m.
Appreciate everyone's
Standard
support
time.
in the. What was that, Nick?
But yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to talk about what I took away from the big article that was dropped by ESPN about the potential beef between Hurts and Sirianni that went through 23 and how much of
Nice
it
touch.
is legit, how much,
Hurts
Yeah.
business.
affect them and all that stuff.
Hurts mission.
It's going to be about a half hour because that's all I'm going to talk about.
All right, guys. Again, make sure you hit that like, hit that sub. Episode 84 next week. Check us out on Spotify, and we'll catch you all later. Everyone have a good rest of your night, and peace. See you guys.
It is